My 41M wife, 35F, refuses to put our son, 6, in public school. How do I move forward? I don't know what to do with this issue because it's a combination of parenting and relationship. My son is 6 years old but is very smart, and we are currently homeschooled, but currently they haven't had a session in weeks. When they do, it's just a few hours. If that. 3 times a week. If that. I'm very frustrated because even though I understand the advantages of homeschooling, more focus on subjects that matter without the fluff, not subjecting him to the dangers of public school, I still rather have him endure that than him on his phone constantly throughout the day and not obtaining any social skills or any kind routine. The wife and I have argued, fought about this many of times, and I told her it's the last year of this homeschooling. She has clinical OCD and babies him a lot. It's her only child, so I understand to an extent. I have 3 others from a previous marriage and 2 live with us. So I don't know if that has something to do with it or not. I'm not sure if counseling, compromise or ultimatums are in order here, as she absolutely refuses to put him in school, and I have threatened divorce because I find it's very harmful for him. Any advice would help. TLDR. Wife doesn't want to put son in public school but lacks the discipline to consistently homeschool him. Edit. I want to thank everyone who has given me great advice. I really appreciate it. This is a difficult situation, to say the least. To those who had lingering questions, I work from home, so that's how I know. Yes, she gets therapy and medication for her OCD. Yes, I know I'm at fault for not just enrolling him in school behind her back. But this is something I have argued for the past 2 years. I take his education seriously, but you don't just do what you feel is right without consulting your partner. So I decided to write down my feelings and will give her a choice. I love her and my son. I feel we can make a decision that is beneficial to all, but if she wants to be stubborn, I'm willing to walk away, which is a very hard decision with lots of ramifications. I will update afterwards. Thank y'all again. She has clinical OCD and babies him a lot. All due respect. She is going to ruin this kid if she keeps this up. She's gonna wreck him if she's allowed to homeschool him the whole time. If your wife's mental illness, OCD, is driving this issue, it is in your child's best interest to attend school, not subjecting him to the dangers of public school. This sounds like an OCD worry. Has her fears impacted the whole family? She desperately needs professional therapy, if she isn't already. Her catastrophic thinking is very harmful to your son's own psyche. Her therapist must be aware how her illness is affecting your young son. Your wife is neglecting his education. Her mental health issues is deeply affecting her insight and her parenting. Why does this 6-year-old have a phone? Weary. Family counseling seems in order. If the counselor learns about the lack of instruction, then they might be able to help convince her. She's neglecting him. Why exactly does she not want him to go to public school? Are charter schools or cyber schools an option? I'm not sure if there is truly a fix to this situation. I was in a similar situation regarding having a child with a woman who I had major disagreements with on how to raise our child. This was a mistake. We worked outside the courts, and I have him during the school year and she has him for the summers. There are many things I would have done differently, from what electrics he was exposed to the food he eats. But because he was with her a significant amount of time, I couldn't prevent him from being exposed to certain things. That comes with the choice of who we have kids with. I don't know the full back and forth between thee and your wife, so I can't say if there's a magic bullet argument you've missed. But probably not. What I would suggest is to get evidence of how damaging the things you want eliminated from your son's routine are and how helpful the things you want added are. You might even find something you're worried about isn't a big deal. Then do not bring them up during an argument. Find some time when both of you are level-headed and have a conversation about it. Approach the conversation not as a battle of logic, but as an understanding of feelings. As long as your wife actually wants what is best for your son. This should be an angle you can work on over time. Focus on how she would feel if her son grew up with the issues you believe his current trajectory will force him to face, and how much more pride she would have in a son with the capabilities and values you want to instill in him. Things won't change quickly. You should expect changes that you're asking of her to take time. The only other option I see would be to divorce and try to show the court that she is a danger to your son and you should have full custody. That is the nuclear option, and it's one I would caution against unless you find out your wife truly doesn't want what's best for your son and is really concerned about herself in some way over his interests. It's a hard situation, I know, and I hope you find a solution. My ex-husband had OCD, and he basically ended up getting me to do all of his routines, compulsions as well. Then he started punishing me for not doing them. It was abuse. Your wife clearly does not have her OCD controlled. If she is homeschooling your son poorly by the sounds of it, and then not allowing him to do things because of her own compulsions and routines, then this is also abuse. Your son is only 6. But this is what he's seeing as normal, and that is incredibly dangerous to his mental health. I don't know what you need to do here exactly, but I left my husband because he was ruining my life, and I didn't want to ever put a kid through that. I would talk to a lawyer ASAP about your rights and protecting your son. Best of luck. The homeschooling isn't the issue here. The issue is that a mentally ill woman is forcing choices on you and your kid based solely on her mental illness. How bad are public schools in your area? What dangers do you worry about? Why you decided to homeschool? Homeschooling should be done in very small number of cases and should be done right. Currently you describe harmful to kid situation, and I honestly not sure why you want to let whole year of that happening. Talk to wife. Enroll kid in a school. At least start him an online program with daily education. Get your wife as therapy and your son in school. You're not doing your kid any favors here. He's not gonna be prepared for the real world if this continues. I'd suggest offering your wife counseling, or else your kid is going to suffer as an adult. What is the fluff you are talking about? Is your wife qualified to teach a child? Damn. Stand up for your kid, man, and end this nonsense. You are literally ruining your kid's future. Take the smartphone away. Get your wife to therapy and get that kid in a real school. As someone who was homeschooled, please step up and be the parent your child needs and stop this immediately. Start with your child's pediatrician. Explain the number of hours actually spent on homeschooling and ask if this is adequate. From there, go to a child psychologist and even the local school district. People who homeschool are supposed to be checking in with the local public school, and the child should be taking the general achievement tests every couple of years. What are her reasons for not wanting him in school? And what is her excuse for not setting up a homeschool schedule? You have the right to put your child in school, and he should be there. He's 6. Can he read at an age-appropriate level? How are his basic math skills? Can he sit quietly and learn for 40 minutes at a time? Does he get along easily with other children? How about his motor skills? They can do that at school by playing games. If your wife hasn't provided all of this, she is not schooling at all. And where does she see this ending? No high school? Not being able to qualify for college because he's not educated to a high enough standard? I just watched a John Oliver segment about the fact that there is zero regulation, requirement or progress testing for homeschooling. I'm shocked because I really thought there was. I feel like divorcing about it is extreme, but it could work if you know you would have full custody, but you would have to prove she is a terrible mother, and it doesn't sound like that is the issue. He's 6. Everything is fluff. Fluff is a necessary part of the learning experience. Maybe there are some kind of compromises that can be made, like he needs to be in some kind of extracurricular activities, sports, crafts, music, public library reading group, maybe just an after-school care program at the YMCA or something. Anything that offers him some structure and the opportunity to separate and socialize with other humans his age. Is the reasoning ideological? Any religious brainwashing going on? Otherwise, I can completely understand parents being terrified of sending their kids to public school because it is not considered a safe place anymore. I didn't have to deal with shootings as a kid, but I did have untreated ADHD, which made me the weird kid. If your wife is a SOM, she could easily be a huge part of his public school experience. Maybe a stretch of private school, but definitely skip the charter schools. Edit. Stolen youth. This is NT Shakespeare. She desperately needs professional therapy, if she isn't already. Her catastrophic thinking is very harmful to your son's own psyche. Her therapist must be aware how her illness is affecting your young son. Being trapped in a house with someone with a confirmed mental illness instead of gradually developing healthy age-appropriate social skills through peer interactions will permanently impact your child's ability to form healthy relationships for the rest of his life. Being around a person with OCD this much without seeing regular people will also cause its own maligned expectations, mental health issues, and an inability to handle the real world. Note that your wife's insistence that he stay at home is a symptom of her mental health issue. It is a desire to control and a symptom of fear. This is a case in which you are going to have to take a step as a responsible parent and register him for school. So you draw the line. Don't argue about this anymore. Simply say, in a very calm manner, he's going to school. And no matter what she says, just be a broken record. As crazy as it sounds, just keep repeating, regardless. He's going to school. He's going to school. Don't get baited or drawn into arguments about this. The fact that she doesn't agree is not relevant here. Her opinion, or rather, her OCD's opinion, doesn't change this outcome. You don't need to threaten divorce or anything else. This is going to happen. And if she is upset about it, she's going to have to talk to her therapist. Again, usually I would say that you should approach marriage as a team. In this case, she's not well. Any logical arguments you make with her will not work, because you are just coming up against her fear. You have already done the diligence to make sure that you have a rational argument for doing this. So in this case, there is no compromise. You need to move forward. Why does your 6-year-old child have a cell phone? She's not the only one with a parenting issue.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.